Good morning, and we are in 135, and it's talking about the martyrdom of Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram Smith. And of course, we've talked a little bit about how we got this, that it's about a month later, I believe, that they've written this, and they were able to put it into the Doctrine and Covenants that year because there's a little bit of room in the back of the Doctrine and Covenants that they were able to include this, and so they put it in there right at the end. Um, and um, so I'm not going to go through a lot of the details because I think it does a lot in here. We've already seen um, where verse 2 talked about um, what actually happened. Um, and that they received four balls or four bullets um, each. And John Taylor had received four bullets, but his didn't kill him. I think that's important to know as well, just because he was very close to death, but he didn't die and survived. Um, um, Willard Richards, I was just going up to make sure I got the name right. Um, didn't receive any. So, without even a hole in his robe, it says. So let's just get in this because, to tell you the truth, there is so much you can go into on this. There's so many details, and the more I delve, the more I see how, um, first of all, how they were martyrs, how things planned out afterwards, which we're going to talk about in tomorrow and the next day and so forth. Um, and just generally um, the blessing we've received because of Joseph Smith and and I'd say also his brother Hiram for what they've given us. So let's just read because it will tell us some of the things that he's done, and you can follow in follow up on this with stuff on the church website on in um, the top right hand corner. I'm sorry. Um, that I was showing you before, the revelations in context and stuff on Come Follow Me. There's all good sources of how we can use these things. But I'm going to read the actual scriptures here. Joseph Smith, the prophet and seer of the Lord, has done more save Jesus only for the salvation of men in this world than any other man that ever lived in it. Now, I think that's a real bold statement to have, but I think anybody that studied this and studied Joseph Smith's life and then um, prayed about this would know that is true, that he has done more. He did so much in that little time that he had, yet he was not crucified, sorry. Um, he was hunted and was thrown in jail and all this stuff. They wouldn't leave him alone. all this time, and somehow he kept pushing on. I, I wouldn't have if if it was me and I thought that what I was doing was deceiving people. The only way I would have done it is if I had actually done or seen the things Joseph Smith purported to see as a prophet and seer of the Lord. I can't imagine how he would go all the way through his life without that. In short, in the short space of 20 years, he has brought forth the Book of Mormon, which he translated by the gift and power of God, and has been the means of publishing it on 2 continents, has sent the fullness of the gospel which it contained to the 4 quarters of the earth, and has brought forth the revelations and commandments which compose the book of the Doctrine and Covenants. I just want to point out, um, about 5 years ago, no, not 5 years ago, sorry, um, about 20 years ago, actually, I just realized, sorry, I was thinking of something else for a second, but about 20 years ago, um, I started looking at um, some material on what we knew about the um, the different religions. I thought I don't know enough about other people's religions, and I wanted to know. So I'd gone through some of the BYU course materials that they have, and read up on different religions. And at the time when I was working, I knew somebody that was a Sikh, and I knew a few quite a few Muslims, and I still do. Um, and born again Christian, um, and so forth. And as I've read about all these and their different scriptures and their different things that they believe in, one of the comments that came out of this, and one of the things that I have taken with me the last 20 years, is the fact that Joseph, Joseph Smith has written more scripture than any other um, wise man or prophet, at least that we have to date. That's including um, Moses. It includes any of the people that wrote the Gospels. Um, he has brought forth more stuff considered scriptures than Muhammad has, or any other person. Um, and he's been under scrutiny for everything that he's done. It wasn't just accepted like that, it was under scrutiny that he did these things. So take that as you will, but it only strengthened my testimony more as I looked closer and closer at what has he done. And he's done so much. And that's just the thing he's written. Still being under pressure and being persecuted for his belief, and for him saying that he saw God the Father and his Son Jesus Christ, and that he was willing to set up a church called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What for? To be murdered? And many other wise documents and instructions for the benefit of the children of men, gathered many thousands of Latter-day Saints, founded a great city, and left a fame and a name that cannot be slain. I love the um, rhyming there, the fame and name that cannot be slain. He lived great, he died great in the eyes of his people, and like most of the Lord's anointed in ancient times, has sealed his mission and his works with his own blood. And so has his brother Hiram. Let's not forget Hiram. He was there the whole time. If anybody knew anything about Joseph Smith, it was Hiram. Is his older brother. He knew a lot. He knew everything about Joseph Smith. He knew his follies. He knew his strengths. He knew those things about Joseph Smith. And yet I have people 200 years later thinking that they know better. It's amazing to me that people go, oh yeah, I know this about Joseph Smith. Well, no, you don't. I'm just gonna say that straight out. You can say what you want, but the more I learn, the more amazing um, both Hiram and Joseph Smith are. In life, they were not divided. In death, they were not separated. When Joseph went to Carthage, sorry, sorry, to deliver himself up to the pretended requirements of the law, 2 or 3 days previous to his assassination, he said, I am going like a lamb to the slaughter, but I am as calm as a summer's morning. I have a conscience void of offense towards God and towards all men. I shall die innocent, and it shall be said of me, he was murdered in cold blood. The same morning, after Hiram had made ready to go, shall it be said to the slaughter? Yes, for it was. He read the following paragraph near the close of the 12th chapter of Ether in the Book of Mormon, and turned it down the leaf upon it, and turned down the leaf upon it, meaning he just put the page down a little bit. If you've watched um, President Holland's little message in Come Follow Me, you'll see that actual book. And it came to pass that I prayed unto the Lord. And listen to the words, what they got. Now, again, I want to stress, and this is what um, President Holland stressed. Why would they read something if they thought that it wasn't of God? Why would they go to this length and say, hey, I'm going to read this and I'm going to get solace from this, although we made it up? It doesn't make sense. He was a prophet of God, and he um, wrote the Book of Mormon, or translated the Book of Mormon through the power of God. That's what happened. And anybody that tries to say otherwise, it's just being foolish, really. Why would they have any want of comfort from something like that unless it was true? So let's see what they say here in the scriptures that they got solace from. And it came to pass that I prayed unto the Lord that he would give unto the Gentiles grace. This is Moroni speaking, that they might have charity. And it came to pass that the Lord said unto me, if they have not charity, it mattereth not to thee. Thou hast been faithful. Wherefore thy garments shall be made clean. And because thou hast seen thy weakness, thou shalt be made strong, even unto the sitting down in the place which I have prepared in the mansions of my Father. And now I bid farewell unto the Gentiles, yea, and also unto my brethren whom I love. Can you just picture them reading that? And I don't know if they knew they were going to die that soon, but how it must have touched their heart to read this. Unto my brethren whom I love, until we shall meet before the judgment seat of Christ, where all men shall know that my garments are not spotted with your blood. The testators are now dead, and their testament is in force. Hiram Smith was 44 years old in February 1844, and Joseph Smith was 38 in December 1843. Henceforward, their names will be classed among the martyrs of religion, and the reader in every nation shall be reminded that the Book of Mormon and this book, the Doctrine and Covenants of the Church, cost the best blood of the 19th century to bring them forth. For the salvation of a ruined world, and that if the fire can scathe a green tree for the glory of God, how easily it will burn up dry trees to purify the vineyard of corruption. I find that an interesting analogy. I was thinking about it today as I was before I uh, read um, before I started this um, podcast. Green tree, it might just scathe. A, a dry tree, something that is dead, will burn up instantly. And sometimes I've seen people burning fields that same way to get rid of all the deadness in it. The living stuff can come back out. They have lived for glory, they died for glory, and glory is their eternal reward. From age to age shall the names go down to posterity as gems for the sanctified. They were innocent of any crime, as they had often been proved before, and were only confined to jail by the conspiracy of traitors and wicked men. Their innocent blood on the floor of Carthage jail is a broad seal affixed to Mormonism that cannot be rejected by any court on earth, and their innocent blood on the echelon of the state of Illinois, with the broken faith of the state, as pledged by the governor, is a witness to the truth of the everlasting gospel that all the world cannot impeach. Their innocent blood on the banner of liberty and on the Magna Carta of the United States, as an ambassador for the religion of Jesus Christ, that will touch the hearts of honest men among all nations, and their innocent blood with the innocent blood of all martyrs under the altar that John saw. That's in um, Revelation. Will cry unto the Lord of hosts till he avenges the blood on earth. Amen. So that is what they wrote to let everyone know, not just their generation, but every generation, to know that Joseph Smith died a martyr. And I hope you got something from it, and hopefully you've spent some more time with the videos that I mentioned earlier this week, with some of the readings. There's a lot in there. There's more than I can even go through at a single time. Um, and I'm spending a lot more time off air studying this than I am on air. There is so much in here, and hopefully, over the last year up till now, you've seen um, all the miracles and things that were happening during this time, and all the wonderful doctrines and things that have come forward. And maybe then, as you walk your day, that you'll remember this ambassador for the religion of Jesus Christ, and remember the Lord of hosts and his martyrs. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.